Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, and I'm checking out a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L four-wheel drive in the limited trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 265/50 Bridgestone tires, wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a combination of polished aluminum and metallic gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Bright White Clear Coat, and it's pretty much a basic white. There's no pearl or anything like that. So here in the front, the actual grille itself looks a lot better than the initial photos I saw of this vehicle. Right in here, there's a matte black, all this is matte black surfaces, and right below it is a lot of chrome right in here. Now you also have chrome here underlining each headlight and then around each one of these 7-slot grills. Now the 7-slot grill is a gloss black for the most part, other than the very center part, which is the flat black. So you get the center part, flat black, around it is a gloss black with the chrome. Now there's parking sensors across the front. Most of them are in the black portion, but you do have a body colored one here on the outside. Now in the grille, there is a camera. This is part of that 360 surround view camera, which is fantastic. I'll show you that when we get inside the vehicle. It also has the ability to wash this front camera on demand. The radar adaptive cruise control is integrated right here in the grille. So there's the sensor, the radar adaptive cruise control sensor, and it's more protected than, say, previous models. Now the headlights, actually this entire vehicle is an LED vehicle, everything. So here on the front, it's a multi-reflector LED for your low and your high beams. The inner portion is the high beams, the outer portion is the low beams. I will have a full night video on this vehicle as well. Turn signals are LED, fog lights are a multi-reflector as well, and they shine in a very low position, which is really nice. It's hard to pick them up on camera because you have to put the camera so low, but there is a multi-reflector LED fog light. Looking through the grille here in the front, there is an active grille shutter system, so that way it can enclose the front end of the vehicle and force the air around the vehicle when it doesn't need that extra cooling, which adds to the aerodynamics at high speeds especially. Take a look at the profile here. That matte black plastic that we saw in the front continues around each wheel well and across the base of the vehicle all the way, and even thickens up here in the back. Now the handles are body colored. The side mirrors are a combination of gloss black and chrome. There's a chrome accent on them as well. All the pillars here near the glass, between the glass, are gloss black. So that kind of solidifies all the glass. And if you tint the front glass, this is privacy glass from the factory. If you tint the front glass as well, it'll solidify all this and kind of make it elongated. It'll look like an elongated single piece of glass. Now the bottom portion, the trim, is black, gloss black, but the upper portion right above the glass is a chrome strip. And that continues down. So it comes up and it goes all the way down, and then it continues down all the way to the back of the vehicle. We'll see that soon. The Grand Cherokee badging includes now a little American flag. There's a camera on each side mirror on the bottom, very well integrated. It kind of blends into that gloss black, and it's part of that surround view camera system, which we'll see when we get on the inside. This is what the key looks like, and it's a completely new design, more squarish, and it has some chrome there on the sides, has the Jeep badging on this side. Really interesting, really quality feeling as well. There is a physical key on the inside which you can take out by pushing this button. But generally, it's a proximity key system. You can use the vehicle 100% without taking this key out of your pocket. It does have the lock, unlock, remote start, the ability to open up the power liftgate, and a panic button here. So let's go ahead and push the panic button. Has a nice strong horn. So as long as you have this key with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's on the outside of either the driver, passenger. Actually, all the doors are like this. You can lock the doors by placing your finger over the sensor indicated by these 3 lines. So that'll lock the doors. To unlock it, you simply put your hand behind the handle, has a sensor back here, and allows you access to the vehicle. Now you can set it to where it unlocks this door or all the doors, you know, the door that you're touching or all the doors, depending on what you have it set at when you touch the handle. Now there is a physical key location only on the driver's side right here. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. And this is what they call global black interior. So most everything is black. It does have some contrast stitching here in the center part, and that is in a French design. So the soft touch surfaces include the very top. So this is like an injection molded surface here, kind of like a Nerf football is what it feels like and looks like. And then there's some really nice wood grain in here, and I love the contour of the door. It's really impressive. Kind of helps out with just kind of making you feel like you just have more room than what you actually do when you get in the vehicle. The way they have everything kind of contoured. So right in here, it kind of caves in, and then you have an armrest. This is all soft touch. This is kind of like a vinyl material. Same thing with this, and then you have the stitching. This handle is enclosed, so you can utilize this for a little storage pocket. It also has a plastic little insert there that you can take out, clean, put it back in. Also, it keeps things from rattling in there as opposed to, say, a hard surface in there. And you notice that this under part is open, kind of give it some depth. It gives us some just more design in the door here. It does have the Alpine sound system, and there's one of the speakers, and it has a metallic trim there, and then you have this metallic trim here as well. All down here is all hard touch plastic surfaces, and there's a bottle holder and then some storage area, and this extends in here a little bit, but still within reach. Now the door goes all the way down to this part right here. So it doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle. So there will be this area here will still get road debris and dirt on it. But you can see it's contoured down away from you. But here up will be much cleaner because the door covers it up. Power seat here on the passenger side. And it has 4-way lumbar adjustment, tilt the back seat, and then it has the ability to go forward and back, but also up and down and tilt the seat. It has a lot of articulation for a passenger side seat. And leather seats, but it has stitching, smooth leather here, and then perforation in the center part. These are heated and vented seats. On the very edge where the seat meets the hard plastic here, it does have like a microfiber, very soft, supple fabric here to protect the leather. And so far these feel very comfortable to me. They have a nice contour, the bolsters are not intrusive, it's just real easy to get in and out of the vehicle. Now here's the legroom. Typically you would have some tapering here on this side, but this actually has some little bit of a bulge there in the center part. So, but it's not really a huge deal because your legs typically go down this area, but it's something to keep in mind. That is a little bit of a less legroom there on the left side, close to the seat. Now this is all hard touch surfaces, including here and the lower part of the dashboard. It does have a lockable glove compartment, Smooth plastic on the inside, pretty standard size. So now we're getting into some more design elements here. Metallic line going on here. A lot of lines of balance, looking really nice. And this outer portion is all that color here, that metallic plastic looking stuff. And then your more contoured wood grain, which is really nice. Contrast stitching, and this is a kind of hard surface, but it's soft on a very surface, but underneath it is basically a hard touch. And then this is a soft touch here. It's kind of rubbery soft on the dash, non-reflective. You can see the front door, wide open space. No limitations as far as headroom or just getting in and out of the vehicle, very easy. The swing of the door is also fantastic. Just got plenty of room. Now the back door, very similar as far as the opening. Just a little bit of an angle here, but just wide open space. The swing of the door probably could come out a little bit more, but as it is, it's not really a big deal. So the inside of the back door, it does have the shade, retractable shade, that extends down and goes into the door when you're not using it. You know, and that's in addition to the privacy glass as well. So you can see the styling, very similar to the front door. You have soft touch here, the wood grain, the metallic accent, metallic handle, soft touch, kind of like a vinyl type material here, here. There's a speaker here and here. This is enclosed with a little pad at the bottom, hard touch at the bottom, and then you have the pockets. So very similar styling, just a little bit different because we have a little bit of an angle here that they have to accommodate for. So the threshold, it does have these little steps, and they're kind of grippy, so you don't slip on them so much. So you can get in and out of the vehicle, but also for the third row passengers getting in and out. And I'll show you that in a minute. So we have these captain's chairs for the second row, and looking pretty nice. Now they have the latch system for car seats. To connect the car seats, you just pull this flap back and you can easily get to these little connections. And you notice there's a flap that's permanently connected to the seat, so it's not like a little cover that you take off and lose. This is a really good idea, and when you're not using them, it's hard to tell that flap is even there. It looks like it's just kind of part of the seat. Now these seats are heated. They have the perforations in the center, just like the front. The stitching, very similar as far as the style, but there's less contours. It's more of a flat seat, but as far as comfort, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not a bad seat at all. It's just less contouring. And you notice how thin the seat is. I mean, it's not very thick. And this helps out with the third row passengers with having more room for them, basically. So the floor is recessed here on the either side, and then there's like a significant hump there on the center part, which we don't have a bench seat, so we don't have a center passenger or anything here. And that kind of goes away as we go back in the vehicle, though, which is nice. So having this floorboard kind of recessed down, the floor mat, just like the front, snaps in place so they don't slide around too much. And it gives you that chair feel with the floor down like that. So your knees are not sticking up so much. You just feel like you're in a nice chair. The back of the driver and passenger seats, it's a hard touch, durable surface with a net pocket on both sides. Also bag holders here and here, so you can hang some stuff there. Now, as a second row passenger, you have full climate control options here. You can adjust the fan speed. You have 3-stage heated seats. Where you want the air to blow, there's your climate control vents there, as well as here in the pillars. Your connectivity has 2 USB-C ports and standard USB ports, as well as a 150 watt power inverter, 115 volt. There's a 3-prong right there. There's a little storage pocket to put some pins or whatever, and then you have some cup holders. And it does have these little bubbles here to kind of take up the slack for different size cups or bottles, which is nice, and a place for a little mug handle to go as well. Now these seats have the ability to go forward and back. So if you need to add to your space in the third row, let's say you had a car seat in this seat and you want to pull it forward a little bit to give some more room in the back, you do have that capability. So just like a regular manual seat, you can move it forward like so and move it back. Now you can see a little bit better on how thin this seat is. Now if you need to access the third row, well, first let me show you a cargo mode. So when we lift this up, it folds down the seat, and then that way you can add to your cargo space. Of course, you would want to fold down the third row as well to utilize this as a cargo space. But that's one way of articulating the seat. You can also recline the seat as well using that same lever. You won't need to be sitting in the seat, and you just push back as you lift that lever. Now, as far as accessing the third row, there is a latch right here, and as you pull it and release the seat, this little orange thing pops up, letting you know that it's now no longer latched. So we can pull it forward, and it's intended to kind of maintain its position just in case you have a car seat in place, and you can tilt it forward, and you just keep on going, push it like that. So that way it kind of like spoons the front seat. But it has quite a bit of room now to access the third row. It's quite incredible how well they get this seat out of the way, because that front seat is almost all the way back. If you were to pull that seat up more, you would even have more room here. So climbing up, you have these steps here, and then go into the third row, which that seat is all the way back, so you still have a pretty decent amount of leg room. And the seats are not super close to the floor like some third rows. So it does give you that chair-like feel, and they are very similar in style as the other seats. So it's not like they skimp too much on the third row. I mean, they look nice. Now you do have connectivity on both sides. So you have a USB-C and regular USB charge ports on both sides, as well as cup holders there. And the headrest flip down, so you can see that one headrest is flipped down just in case you need to add to your visibility if you don't have a passenger in that seat. There's climate control vents back here. And you also have this camera system, which is pretty neat. You can keep an eye on your passengers in the second and the third row. And I'll show you that when we get to the screen. On both sides of the third row, you have this little pocket to put a cell phone or something right in here. So in addition to the cup holders, we have this little pocket, and that's on both sides with the connectivity. So, and it's a 50-50 fold down seat. I do find it interesting that this third row does not have ISOFIX or latch system for car seats. So that's interesting. The second row does, but the third row does not. There's a spot in the getting into the third row that's kind of scooped out, and it looks like it has the ability to kind of like allow yourself to kind of grab right in there to get into the third row a little bit easier, which is pretty neat. Take a look at the back of the vehicle. Starting here with the top, it has a black roof rail, but it also has a chrome strip there on the side. And that is a flat black, just like the shark fin antenna here. It's a pretty good size shark fin antenna. Now the third brake light is right here at the top of the glass in this gloss black portion. Just below the third brake light in this gloss black rear spoiler, there is a camera, and this enhances your rear view mirror. So this is actually a digital rear view mirror. You have the same capacity for a regular rear view mirror, but you have this camera as well. So it bypasses any limitation as far as cargo or passengers getting in your way. This Gives you a straight view behind the vehicle. Now it's a little bit of a concave lens. So the lens is, instead of bulging out, it's kind of concave and has this spray right here. So you can wash it and it scoops out whatever debris that might be in the camera lens. There's also a rear wiper here as well. And you can see this, that chrome strip that extends down from the sides, and now it continues all the way across the back of the vehicle. Now that camera on the top side is different from the backup camera, which is located here, and it's in the very center position, and it also has a little washer as well. So right here, sticking out, you have the ability to wash that one as well. It just gives a high pressure spray. Now there's parking sensors across the back, and they're all body colored in this white portion here. There's a little chrome strip here at the top of the bumper, and then there is a flat black rear bumper, and it has the ability to have a tow hitch underneath this cover. And just like the front, all the tail lights are LED. So the tail lights, turn signals, reverse lights, everything, brake lights, all LED back here. Looks fantastic, nice and sharp, and I will have a night video showing this vehicle at night, what it looks like, what are the pluses and minuses of the interior and exterior lighting. So we can open up the power liftgate using the key, or there's a button here to the right of the camera. You push that button and it lifts it up for you. There's also a button to the left to lock the doors. So under the liftgate, there's two LED lights. So these are kind of like over the shoulder lights. They're quite small, and it's hard to tell how bright they are during the day. So we'll check it out at night to see if it is gonna be good. So if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is your cargo space. Here is a 1 cubic foot box, just to give you an idea of kind of visual reference here. Of see compared to the rest of the area. On the right side here, there is a tie down, a little bag holder, 12 volt power supply, and you can see it has a battery on it, indicating that it's permanently connected to the battery, that doesn't turn on and off with the ignition. You can put a net pocket back here. There's a tie down, and then there's a storage compartment here, just a small shallow one. On the left side, there's a subwoofer with a chrome bezel around the outside. Little tiny little bag holder right here. Little tiny light for the cargo area. It is LED, so we'll have to see if that's going to be adequate. You do have the two over the shoulder lights, but having only one here on this side and not the other side is a little bit disappointing. Possibly, we'll see. If it's bright enough, it might work, but I think it can be improved just by looking at the design here. And this button is to lower the power liftgate. I'll show you that in a second. So underneath this floor is not latched down in any way. It's just kind of laying here. So you can pick it up and just, it's just take it right out, and there's nothing to secure it basically. So this is an additional cargo space. This is the front tag holder and screws. So plastic on the inside, hard plastic. So you can put some stuff in here. It's easy to clean out. If you get any spills or anything, not really a big deal, considering this material is like really tough. Now you can take this cover off, and that's where you'll find your tools for your spare tire, as well as a funnel. And then to lower, right here you can see this little cover. You take that cover off, and there's a bolt, and you unscrew that bolt, and it lowers the spare tire, which is under the vehicle, and it lowers down to the ground. So this is a 50-50 split seat here in the third row. So you can see the very center part. So if you need to add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, you can do that. And let's say we want to fold this one down. When you pull this, it lowers the headrest and it releases the seat. So you just basically push it right on down, like so. And so now we can put, I still have that second row seat folded down. So now we can put, say, a long box right here, or whatever we need to put and still have these seats still occupied with passengers. So having that capability is nice. You can also fold down all the seats and have a wide open, huge cargo area back here. To lower the power liftgate, you just push this button and it beeps at you, letting you know that it's coming down. And it secures. Fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it's a non-locking fuel door on this model. And opens up, and it has a capless design. So there's no cap to worry about. Get your hands dirty, forget it, lose it, whatever. Or just generally getting in your way, a cap. So this one, you don't have to worry about any of that. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just hold the brake, push and hold the brake, and push this button to start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You can see the floor mat snaps in place. There's the accelerator and brake pedal. A nice large footrest here on the left side. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch in the very center, right in here. And you just reach in and move it to the left. And then you lift up on the hood. Doesn't take a huge amount of weight, effort, because it is a fairly light hood, but it also has a shocks that holds it up. So it goes up to a certain point and then it just holds itself up. There's insulation on the underside of the hood. There's also a seal all the way around the engine compartment. There's a little Easter egg right in here. Insulated and heat shielded firewall across the back. The suspension towers are also braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle here. Now this one has a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, and on some of the lower trims there's no big plastic cover covering up the engine, so this is one of those, so you actually get to see the engine a little bit. But you can see there's a lot of space in front, so you can actually have room for the V8 option if you want that. And it's paired to an 8-speed TorqueFlite transmission. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. There is 2 presets for the power seat here for the driver's seat. Door lock controls, power windows, and the front 2 are automatic. So the back, you just have to hold it. The front, you can just push it one time and it goes down. Now this is laminated glass here on the front. So it has 2 panes of glass, inner and outer, and an acoustic material there on the inside. It makes a stronger piece of glass, but it also helps from vibrations from sound from getting through the glass. So like a loud motorcycle next to you, it kind of minimizes that a little bit. Now while we're looking at this side mirror, there is a little triangle on it, and that is for the, right in here, rear cross traffic alert and blind spot detection system. These are heated and auto dim mirrors as well. And how you adjust them is you pick a side and adjust it like a little joystick, and it's kind of rubberized, which is pretty nice. So the driver's seat, basically the same controls as the passenger. Has the ability to go up and down, tilt and everything, and a 4-way lumbar adjustment. So they didn't put anything really special for the driver. To the left of the steering column, down here is electronic parking brake. So you pull it out to initiate it, and it engages the rear wheels. Headlight controls here, so it has off, parking lights, regular on, and then automatic on, and then the fog lights, you just push the center button here to turn on or off. The fog lights will turn off with the high beams though. There's dimmer switch for your interior gauges, and then the ambient light here. Steering column is powered, tilt, and telescoping. I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out. And I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down. So to give you an idea of the potential legroom here, I'm 6 feet tall, and basically I feel like a toddler because there's so much room. I could barely touch that brake pedal here if I put my legs straight out. So here in the front, there's lots of room. Knee room is fantastic. It's just no problem as far as leg room. Now I would have to, of course, pull it up quite a way. So if you're over 6 feet tall, you shouldn't have any problem with driving this vehicle. So the steering wheel is a heated, leather-wrapped steering wheel, and check it out, really nice looking, very impressive. It has this metallic design here, or this accent that continues down here at the bottom and all the way around, and then you have the wood grain right in here. Really nice. And the feel of the leather is kind of has a softness to it. It's not too, doesn't like dig into your hands. It's really feels nice. Probably one of the top 10 for sure as far as steering wheels, as far as the way it feels and also the way it looks. It looks really nice. So it has buttons on the front, of course. It also has buttons on the back, just like in previous model Grand Cherokees, but it also has the paddle shifters here, right above that. So right back here, there is a up and down toggle switch with a center button, and that's on both sides. So both back here, on both sides, we'll have it. On the right side is the volume for the radio. The up and down is the volume for the radio, and it's designed where you can put your hand right here and your fingers line up with it perfectly. And so the volume for the radio, the center button cycles through your different audio sources. On the left side, the up and down is changed through the radio station or the tracks, depending on what you're playing. And the center button is to cycle through your presets on your radio only. Here on the front of the steering wheel, the cruise control buttons are here. So you turn it on, you can set it with either one of those, resume and cancel. So that's your normal buttons. This has the radar adaptive cruise control system, in which you can turn that feature on and set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. It also has the ability to kind of keep you, the lane keeping assist feature as well. Here on the left side, so this is for your Bluetooth systems. You can answer a call, hang up here. These arrows and this OK, and this button, which is pretty interesting, corresponds with this full digital cluster, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Front and rear wipers are here on the right side, and here on the left side is the turn signal and the headlight dimmer switch as well. Okay, so this is a full digital screen. On the left side, so it's a full screen, but it has gauges kind of represented with a needle, and it looks just like a normal gauge, except for it's digitally represented instead of an actual physical gauge. So the RPM gauge, the tachometer is here on the left side, speedometer is there on the right. Engine coolant temperature is here, and this is all customizable. And what gear you're in is here. Digital speedometer, and then fuel gauge is here. Outside temperature, you have your range right here, and things will change depending on what screen we're in. It'll look a little bit different depending on what screen we're in, and also how we customize it. So using the arrows and the OK button, first of all, let's go ahead and you'll see these little bubbles right here. That means that we can go left and right. So if we go left and right, this is the first one, this is the second option. Now, we have smaller gauges, digital speedometers in the center. Now some of this information has changed positions. But the emphasis now is the safety systems as far as the cruise control. So we can set the distance between us and the vehicle in front of us, and it's represented by these little bars right here. And it has information as far as that. Now scrolling back to the left, it brings us back to this original screen. Now we're going to go up and down, because this is number 1 out of many in the menu. So scrolling down, you can see it says number 2, vehicle info, and this is a summary of all your different gauges here. Now scrolling to the right or left, we have more temperatures and pressures, including the tire pressure. Now, the fuel economy is not accurate. We're sitting in the parking lot. This vehicle hasn't been on the road yet. It's a brand new off the truck, hasn't been on the road at all. So you can see that the vehicle info options there. Scrolling down again takes us to our trip info. There's trip A and trip B, and there you can reset those independently. Shows the distance, time, and average fuel economy. Scrolling down again shows the terrain. So this would be like what's going on with your four-wheel drive system. All right. Scrolling to the right shows the articulation of the wheels and also the angle of the steering wheel. So as I turn the steering wheel, it'll show a percentage angle, and it kind of has a little animation there showing you what it looks like. And then scrolling to the right again will be the pitch and roll. You know, whether you're, you know, the lay of the land in the vehicle, you know, how it's positioned and how far you can go. You know, you don't want to go too far leaning right or left or whatever. It might be unsafe. All right, scrolling down again, whatever your radio is doing will show up here. Again will be stored messages. Down again will be your settings. So when you go into this, you can choose what's in those different spots. You know, so the upper right, center, odometer, your favorites. You can go to a default, upper left, you know, and it kind of cycles through, and you can make the selections that you want. So I made the selection of outside temperature and range on those corners. And scrolling down again takes us back to the first one, which is the main menu, which has the digital speedometer and the large gauges, which is pretty much the default here. So that's kind of a quick rundown of that feature, but there's also another way of viewing these gauges. So right here, it kind of has a summary view, multiple view right here. So I'm going to go ahead and push that. And when I push that, it pops up. The digital speedometer is still there, and it makes those gauges disappear. And we have the digital speedometer at the top. It's smaller, but look how much more information. We have all these little windows in which we can go to different ones and change it to what we can have all these different ones. We can go through and change what we want to see on the screen. So we want to have fuel economy there, tire pressure there. We can have something else if we want here. Different tire temperatures and pressures. That's the vehicle info. And then this one is for the cruise control. And then the next one is for you know, radio, whatever your radio is doing. And then the next one is your four-wheel drive. So you can have different, your pitch or roll or whatever you want there. And then that way you can have this type of view instead of the more traditional style. And that way you can keep an eye on the precise things that you want to keep an eye on simultaneously. You don't have to go scrolling through a menu system to get that information. You can have it right there and view it if you want to. Now this is handy, you know, for especially off-roading. I mean, you got your, you know, your pitch and roll and different information there, plus your temperatures and pressures. Let's say you want to keep an eye on your transmission temperature, and at the same time you want to see what your roll is or your pitch, and then of course, you know, your radio. You have all this stuff right there at your fingertips. You can always push the button again, and it makes all that go back to your default screen. So you can quickly go to that screen and then get out of it without having to go through this full menu system and set it up, you know, independently. It's a quick back and forth just by pushing that button. So that's a quick rundown of what those gauges, or that gauge cluster full screen, is all about. Now the way the interior is designed is kind of sloped back, so it makes you feel really comfortable sitting here. It doesn't feel like you're, like, you know, being intruded on by the dashboard. It feels like it's kind of sloping away from you, and it's really a comfortable environment. At the top of the touchscreen, there's some physical buttons up here. So this first one is the stop-start feature, in which you can turn it off, and that's the off light. So once you turn it off, you'll see that on. And when I get in the vehicle, I just automatically turn it off. So this one is the lane departure. So active lane management is what they call it. So that way it kind of helps you steer in the center of the lane. You can turn that feature on or off real fast there. The next one is the traction control. You can turn it off. Default is on. So that's once again the off light. Four-way flashers are here. And then this is the parking sensors off. So when you want to turn the parking sensors off, you can do that if they're just annoying you or whatever. And once again, this is the off light, not the on light. Here's the new Uconnect screen. And it has, you know, physical buttons down here for the climate control and different things and volume and all that stuff. But actually there's a lot of stuff here on the screen, and it's very useful stuff. So it's similar to previous Uconnect systems, in which you have icons across the bottom, but there's so much to the screen. There's so much to the system. They had to redesign it a little bit different, and I think it works out pretty good. So you can sort through. There's so many different options that have the ability to sort through them a little bit better. Right now we have the outside, the temperature set for the driver and passenger. This is a tri-zone in which you can keep track of the temperatures, and it's also synced right now as well. And also it shows you this little icon there that we can push that, and we can quickly adjust the heats for the steering wheel, the seat, or the vented. So we can do that, and we can do quick adjustments for the climate control. There is the adjustments below as well, but we can do that. Same thing for the passenger side. We can turn on the heated. We're going to adjust the temperature and also the heated and vented seats. We can adjust it by pushing those buttons at the top. And it has a clock there in the center, and you can see the little icons right here. So when we push that one, it shows any notifications. It's similar to your cell phone, in which you have little notifications and different icons and stuff like that. It shows the outside temperature, what radio station you're on, so you have some basic information there at the top. And at the bottom there's just kind of quick access to different, basically apps is what they're calling them now. So you see there's all the apps on this last one. Now, we're on the home screen, and we can change My Pages right here. We can hit that. We can add a page, delete a page, or reorder the page. So right now there's 2 pages up, the navigation and the radio. So we can change those if we want. We can also say add a page. So we have different layouts here in which we can have, something like this. So there's 4 of them. So that way we can add different ones we want. And we just simply, these are widgets just like your cell phone basically. They're using the same terminology. And we can select the one we want in that particular block, and then we can move through and, like let's say the radio there. We'll go shortcuts there, and then we'll go to climate control there, and we'll do the suspension on that one. So that's pretty cool. And shortcuts, we can add whatever shortcuts we want. Heat seats and wheel or whatever we want. We kind of already have that. But just to give you an idea of how you can customize this page, this home button, like pretty much infinitely. There's so many different options you can do just with the home button. So that way you're not digging too far deep. And that's kind of the way it is. Once you get these set up, it makes it a lot easier to find ones that you use and that you want to see regularly. So this next one is the media. So this is pretty straightforward. It's very similar to prior Uconnect systems, in which you have presets here. You can change your audio source here. So as AM/FM satellite radio, you do have the ability to, of course, have Bluetooth and USB, and it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So you notice now that we have these folders here at the top. We have sources. We have we know what's now playing. We can browse, and then we can go into audio settings here. And the different sources are listed here. So these little files pop up depending on what screen you're in, and it helps you sort things out and get to the things that you want to get to faster and easier. And you can see the radio actually has album art as well. Alright, so the next one is comfort. So this will be your like climate control and heated and vented seats, that kind of stuff. And like I mentioned, there is physical buttons down here, so you're not tied always to the screen, but that you do have front and rear capability. You can lock the rear as well. And and then you can of course adjust your seats and everything. So it's kind of a quick shortcut for that as well here in the what they call comfort now. So it's a little bit more expanded than just the climate control. The next one icon is the navigation, and you have different views. You can see more of a 2D, north up, and then a 3D view. And you can zoom in and out and move it around. You can recenter it. We can do a search right here and pop up and search what we want. It has like a little keyboard, basically similar to like a keyboard. It has the layout, so it's what you're familiar with, just like your cell phone or something. Alright, so the next one is your phone. Once you pair your phone, you have access to, you know, all the features as far as like your phone book, your recent calls, and all that stuff, and also playing music through the Bluetooth system. And it'll have more information there once you pair the phone. So the next one is vehicle. So this is pretty interesting. So now we have these different folders up here. Off-road, we have controls, and we have settings. So the off-road, let's go ahead and launch off-road pages. So this is showing the vehicle dynamics. So you can see the steering wheel as I turn it. It gives us a percentage of the angle and the status of the drivetrain here. Accessory gauges, pitch and roll, select terrain. So this can show you the status of what's going on with your four-wheel drive system. And then right here is interesting. It is a quick shortcut to the forward-facing camera. So if you're kind of creeping through, and I like the way they have the guidelines as tire marks, which is pretty neat when you're doing the off-road thing. Now this is handy, so if there's something right directly in front of the vehicle and you can't see it because of the, just like over the windshield, through the windshield, this gives you a view right there from the bumper of the vehicle all the way up to the sky and all around. It's a worldwide view, and it shows you right where your tire tracks are going to go, so you can can make adjustments and steer clear of any obstacles, that kind of thing. And you can quickly go to the rear view camera if you need to, and then back and forth depending on what you need to do, especially like if you need to back up or whatever, or see if you need or can back up or go forward, so you can keep an eye on those right there. Alright, so let's go back to the vehicle. Now we have controls. So this will be your you can go directly to your surround camera, which is I'll show you that. Also the family cam, forward-facing camera, and then rear view camera all here. So the automatic dimmer rear view mirror, you can turn that on or off here, but it also has a camera rear view mirror, which is nice. I'll show you that in a minute. The third row headrest fold, so if you need better visibility in the back, you can push that and it will fold the third row headrest. Let's go ahead and do that now, I guess. So we can see the third row back there, and it's limiting our view, so we can fold them down. So just by pushing that button, it'll fold those down and get them out of your way. And now, of course, if there's passengers back there, you don't want to do that. Now let's look at the family cam. So this is pretty cool because you can see an overall view of the second and the third row and keep an eye on kids and stuff like that. But you can also get a view of a specific seat. So you can choose the seat you want, and you can see what's going on more specifically in that particular seat. And whatever you leave out of this system, so let's say you have this one seat that you're looking at all the time, and when you leave the system and come back to it, it remembers that you were looking at that seat, and it keeps that up for you. So this is really, really cool, being able to keep an eye on things back there. Or let's say you had a pet back here, and maybe not a kid, but you have a pet and you can keep an eye on the pet, that kind of thing. Alright, so now the surround camera, let's look at that. So this gives you a view, like a top-down view. It uses all those cameras, the ones on the side mirror, the front and the back, to stitch together a view that looks like it's coming top-down like a drone. Now you see there's a little bit of stitching disconnect, a little tiny bit, but it's not really a big deal. And this is showing behind the vehicle here. Now you can show in front of the vehicle, behind the vehicle, more focused on the wide angle view in the back, wide angle view in the front, and then just the back. So depending on what your needs, or just the front. So you can quickly go to all these just by pushing those buttons. Once you get started into the camera system, then it kind of leads you to different options while you're in there. And of course, forward facing and rear view cameras are here. So there's kind of like separate ones that you can utilize that. And then this is just like vehicle settings, you know, you set it up the way you want it. And this kind of stuff, you set it up and then you don't have to really mess with it for basically until you want to change something. Alright, so that was the vehicle settings. So the next one is apps. And what it does is it separates them. So you have favorites. So I got one set up as favorites. Family cam, surround camera, Alexa is where you use your voice and ask questions and that kind of stuff. And then device manager, this will be, you can set up different devices, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, that kind of thing. This one is recent, so the most recent apps that you use will appear here, whether they're favorites or not. And then the categories, you can go through different categories, whichever one, so you can find something easier sometimes. And then all, so just kind of like you can sort of A to Z or Z to A, and you just kind of scroll through and find the ones that you want. Check the weather, the surround camera, passenger heat, passenger ventilation seat, off-road pages, all that kind of stuff are all right in here. So when you add one to the favorites, you hit the little star and then it appears here. So when you get to the screen, it eliminates all the ones that you don't use, and if you just go to your favorites, it's real easy to go to the ones that you use regularly, which I think that's great. In prior years, you would basically replace the icons down here, but it's very limiting. This one has more options as far as your favorites, and I think it's a really well-designed system. Also, the clarity and the resolution and just the overall screen looks good to me. It just looks really nice. It's a little bit bigger as well. So down here is a volume for the radio, tuned to the stations here. You got heated and vented seats. So these are 3-stage. So high, medium, and low, and off. Same thing with the heat. You got high, medium, and low, and off for the driver and passenger, and then on or off for the heated steering wheel. Temperatures can be controlled here. So up and down is the temperature for the driver and passenger. So the actual temperature is up here. And you can sync them or you can use them independently. And of course there's the rear passengers have a separate one that you can control here or in the back. Alright, so you can, all that right there, there's a mute to mute the radio quickly. There's also a screen off, so we push that and it turns the screen off, and it appears to be backlit for a second, but then the backlight goes away. So at nighttime, if you just don't want that screen turned on, it completely goes dark and no backlight or anything. You just tap the screen to turn it back on, so it's real easy to turn it back on. Alright, so front and rear defrosters is here where you want the air to blow. Have it automatic and recirculate the air and air conditioning. And turn the heat, accidentally turn the heated seats on. So it's like heating me up. It's a hot day, can't have that on. Alright, so a lot of gloss black. And so this part right here opens up and you have some connectivity here, a wireless cell phone charger. So you just lay your phone in there and it starts charging. So there's USB-C, regular USB, and then an auxiliary input there in the center, and then a 12-volt power supply, and it turns on and off with the ignition, so you can see the key there. This is rubberized here on the inside, and so that way you can put your cell phone in there and it's not going to slide around so much. Also, there's some felt, it's like a felt lining on here on the inside here. Now this is the shifter. So you just basically turn the dial. You hold the brake, turn the dial. When you put it in reverse, two things will happen. The camera system will pop up. Also, your parking sensors will pop up here on the screen. The next one is neutral, and then drive. So it's pretty basic. Now right here is the drive mode. So you have sand and mud. So when we have it in sand, when we change the drive mode, it shows what's going on here on the screen. So we have snow, automatic, and sport. We'll just leave it in automatic for now. So it gives you a little selection there, but also shows you on the screen. Alright, so it does have backlit cup holders. They look pretty cool. And they do have little bubbles to take out, these little bubbles things right here to kind of take up the slack for different size cups. And there's like just like a plastic liner on the inside, so it should be fairly easy to clean this out. But there is a lot of gloss black, so you want to have a microfiber cloth, or have something to wipe it down, because it is going to accumulate fingerprints and stuff like that. There's like, it looks like a little Jeep grill under here. Alright, so the armrest, nice and soft. I don't feel any bottoming out or anything. It's nice and like a pillow type soft. And it has some stitching on it, which is looking nice. It's probably not big enough to share with the passenger. They're going to have to deal with it. But it has two levels. The top level here, there's two levers here, top and bottom. So the top one lifts up, and then you have this felt quick access compartment here. And then the bottom one opens up the larger compartment. And does have a light in here. And I don't see any ability for wires to go in and out of this, but there's no connectivity in there anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this rear view mirror is also rear view camera, like I mentioned. So there's the regular rear view mirror. You can see kind of limited as far as visibility, but then when you put it on the rear view camera, you can see crystal clear what's behind the vehicle. Now you can push this button and you can select and change the brightness. Push it again, you can change the height, so have it higher or lower depending on your preference there, whatever's good for you as far as seeing what's behind you. And it looks pretty good. It's nice and clear. It's a decent distance to where my eyes can focus on it pretty good, the way this seat's positioned right now. And it probably could be a little bit brighter, but I mean, it's fine. I can see it fine. And of course, it is an auto dim rear view mirror. So when you have it in this section, it is an auto dim mirror, and you can turn that feature on or off on the screen, like I mentioned. So up here is a place to put your shades, and it has like a felt. It's like a like a felt lining, but it's the type. It's a little bit. It's very, very thin felt lining, but it's all in the inside of this. Put your sunglasses or glasses in there, safety glasses, whatever. And you got some lights, LED, more focus beams that go kind of in your lap, like a reading light. You can turn on all the interior lights by pushing that button. Have the interior lights turn on with the door, or you can turn that feature off. So this is the off button. There's a lot of off buttons in this vehicle. These are for the sunroof. It has a panoramic sunroof with a shade. We'll get to that in just a minute. You see there's the different buttons there. Alright, so there's the visor, and it has a cloth, like a very smooth microfiber type cloth on it. There's a mirror with lights. Has a little clip here, and HomeLink garage door opener controls on that side. It does extend out on a metal rod instead of plastic. headliner is a cloth, that similar type material. Okay, so the sunroof, it has this shade. It covers 100% of the light. The sunroof shade does. So some vehicles have it to where it's like not covering up. The sun's still shining through a little bit. But let's go ahead and open it up. So when you push the button one time, it just goes back halfway. You gotta push it again. Whoop, went the wrong way. Let's push it again so it can continue. The back portion is fixed, the front portion moves. So let's go ahead and vent it up. So you can vent it by itself like that. Just have some airflow coming through like that. Close it, or you can open it up. We'll see how far back it goes. Push it again. It goes, oh, that goes back pretty far. So that's as far back as it goes now. All right. All right, and then the shade. Now the shade, when you close it, it does the same thing. It kind of stops halfway. Or this time it didn't. Maybe I just wasn't doing it right. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Okay. So looking at the visibility, we did lower the third row headrests. But if you had passengers back there with the headrests up, you know, that would still be an issue. But you see, there's so many things that can get in the way. It's not really the visibility as far as problems with the actual windows, because there's quite a bit of windows, and the pillars aren't that ridiculous. So it's just a matter of what's getting in the way, passengers, cargo, or whatever, in addition to the headrest and the seats and the pillars and all that stuff. So the camera system for the rearview mirror makes a lot of sense in this particular vehicle. With all that stuff behind you potentially, having that camera, having the ability to have that camera right behind the vehicle is really good. I think I like that idea. So here's the window sticker. I'm going to have a link to it and also the text in the description. But just to give you an idea, this one does have some upgrades. So you can see it starts off with the basics, and then the standard equipment, and then optional equipment starts here and continues to the next row. And you can see prices next to each one of these packages, which increases the price, of course. So not all limiteds are exactly the same. They have different options potentially. So you can see this one has the Luxury Tech Group 2, the sunroof option, the navigation with the 10-inch display, different options here, 9 amplified speakers with subwoofer, 506 watt amplifier, and the upgraded 20-inch wheels, that kind of stuff. And there's the total MSRP. And it also shows where the vehicle was assembled and where the parts came from. So let's take it for a test drive. First, I'm going to go out on the highway, see what the acceleration's like, and just kind of cruise around town as well, just to feel what it's like on just regular roads. So the highway, the speed is 70 miles an hour on this highway. So I'm going to accelerate quite a bit to see what we got with this V6. Now this is the same V6 that's found in the Challenger and a lot of different vehicles. It's a strong, very well received V6, but this is a big vehicle. So we'll see what's going on here. Now that was going uphill as well, but I would say the V6 is fine for normal driving. It's not going to pin you in your seat or anything like that. it's just kind of like, you know, mediocre. I definitely would get the V8 if you're going to do any kind of hauling. This feels adequate, you know, adequate for the size of the vehicle. It's a little, I wouldn't say underpowered, but it's pretty close to being underpowered for this size vehicle, that the V6. And I really do like this engine and transmission. This drivetrain is really good, and they use it, like I said, in the Challenger and the Charger and stuff like that, but this is a big vehicle. So the cruise control system seems to work pretty good. As far as the distance between me and the vehicle in front of me, and the ability to keep an eye on the lines, and you know, kind of like, let's see what happens if I don't touch the steering wheel. It lets me know if it sees a line or not. It can maintain the lane just with one line, but 2 lines, of course, is better. All right, I'm not touching the steering wheel. All right, I just turned it off. So, but at 71 miles an hour, the RPMs is about 1850 RPMs. So cruises along pretty good. It doesn't feel like it's straining either. And the brakes are nice and smooth. You can feel that the brakes are adequate for sure. And they're smooth in that they're not, typically when brakes are, you know, kind of struggling because of the weight of the vehicle or whatever, then you don't have a smooth feel. You have like a rough feel. But this one is nice and smooth. So rough, like, you know, you can't slow down, like it wants to, I don't know how to explain it, but anyways, it feels fine. Going around the turns, I don't feel much leaning. Doesn't feel like it's like excessively leaning. It doesn't feel like a heavy vehicle. It's kind of interesting. It just kind of feels like the regular Grand Cherokee. It doesn't feel like this big heavy vehicle like some do. There's quite a bit of engine noise. Everything else is pretty much, the outside noises are pretty well contained, but the engine, since you're doing all this revving and stuff, you can hear it. You definitely hear the engine revving, which some people might like that, especially if you got the Hemi, nice sounding engine. Very comfortable. I mean, the seat, the ride, you know, the ease of use as far as, you know, steering, and it's just feels really nice to be in. Definitely gonna have to adjust the brightness on that screen. It's a little bit too bright. Go ahead and dim it down like so. And if you want to turn the screen off, you can do that. And then the backlight goes off and it's completely dark there. Yeah, I'm really glad that it doesn't feel like a heavy vehicle. That was my major concern, that it's going to be like this big, lumbering weight, springy suspension and all that kind of stuff, but no, it feels good. It feels like very similar to the previous Grand Cherokee. As far, it doesn't feel like it's bigger. It feels very nice. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina. And I'll have a bunch of information in the description if you want to check it out, including Van Underwood website. So thank you for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.